I'm Mason Martinez, and if you're a homeowner, you've probably received some junk in the mail that says something along the lines of, "Open now for the cash offer on your home. We buy ugly houses, I'll buy your home cash." Or in my case, from this big national known brand, Open Door, "Open now to see your estimated offer." Now, normally these pieces of mail go into the trash. As a former mailman, I know how to identify what's junk and what's not. And as a realtor, I just really don't care what they have to say. In this case though, I thought it'd be cool and interesting just to kind of see where they think my home is valued at. So I am going to take a look at this, go over it, and really explain who it's for, who it's not for, as well as go over the good, the bad, the ugly, and really give you a peek behind the curtain because, newsflash, I actually used to be a partner with Open Door. So getting right into it, let's take a look. I got this the other day, and right away at the top, your estimated offer is... Now, I will tell you that even though you did not hear what the value was, they're off by probably about $40,000 to $60,000. It's been a while since I comped my house, and I don't do it often, but the last time I did, I was pretty happy with the amount, and they are significantly under. Now, I'm not surprised at what they offered, and that's their preliminary offer. I gotta make that clear. That is not what they are going to offer me. Now, it did change because if I recall, and it's been a while since I've seen one of those, Open Door specifically used to give you an actual amount. Now they give you a pretty broad range. Now, I had mentioned I was previously an Open Door partner, and I want to make this clear. I was never an Open Door employee. How Open Door's business model once worked, and this was probably about 18 months ago, was they enter into certain markets, and in those markets, they don't have any physical employees, or at least that I know of. Homeowners submit their homes or requests to Open Door and say, "Hey, I'd like to get an offer, and I'd like to get the cash from you guys and hand you my keys and be on my merry way." Well, not every home fits the Open Door box or their portfolio and what they look for. When I was partnered with them, Open Door had this nice, neat little box that homes used to fit into, or they used to like to see them fit into. And specifically, it was newer homes or not so old homes that weren't too beat up and didn't need much love to them or fixing up. Open Door would make them a, at the time, generous, fair offer. Homeowner would hand over the keys. Open Door takes ownership of it. They clean it up, maybe replace some carpet and paint, and then mark it up over fair market value, sell it, and make a profit. The homes that didn't fit in Open Door's box, they would get denied or rejected. In the Tucson market, we were the team that Open Door partnered with to funnel us the rejected or denied homes. Once we received the alerts or the addresses or the client's information, it was then on us, myself as an agent and the rest of the team, to reach out to the homeowner, set the appointment, and really go over what their situation was. This would ultimately end in a listing, and we would sell the home, and then we would give Open Door their referral fee. Some of the reasons why the homes don't fit or don't work for Open Door is if you, at the time, again, things might have changed from now, it's September 2023, if you had lease solar, if you had livestock, if you lived in a gated community, if you had septic, and I think a well as well. Maybe not septic, but if you had a well, Open Door wouldn't touch it. Also, if the home was too old or was just in too bad of condition, they also wouldn't touch it. Now, the big change came when Open Door, and I don't want this to be all about Open Door. There's actually plenty of other companies that have done this. They've now exited the business or they've changed how they buy. So this information might be a little bit dated, but during the height of the pandemic, when homes were flying off the shelf, in my opinion, I believe these type of companies, iBuyer companies or investors, got greedy. And this is mainly speaking to the large national brand companies. They would buy homes by the masses and they would turn them for a profit, and they were just spitting these out like on a conveyor belt. Well, when the market turned last year, the investors, and any good investor knows that when the market turns, you must reevaluate your numbers and your investments. Well, big companies like Open Door and Zillow, and this is public information and it's been put out there, took major losses because they had so much inventory and they were holding on to it in hopes of selling it at those values they projected to make, or those margins they had on those homes were completely wiped out when rates jumped up to 5, 6, now 7%. Because Open Door lost just under $1 billion in their reported loss last year in quarter 3 or quarter 4, I believe, they really tightened the screws. They built that nice, neat little box. I say that because at one point in time, we saw them buying homes that we would have never imagined they would have bought. Again, from the outside looking in, it looked like maybe they thought they had cornered the market. They could take on anything, put some money into it, and turn it for a profit. Well, we all know after you lose almost $1 billion, things change and that doesn't really work anymore. All that to say, these companies are not terrible. They learned some lessons, and I've seen them serve a number of families in great ways. Now let's talk about who it's for. If you're a homeowner and you are in dire need to get out from under your home, or you need to move immediately, or maybe you don't want to do a single thing, and the most important piece is if you do not care and you're okay with leaving $1,000, $10,000, $20,000, $40,000 on the table, these companies might be for you. I've had families say that they were so fearful or so burned by a previous realtor that they're willing to lose $50,000 just to simply sell these companies their home, turn over the keys, and be gone. Now, of course, that bothers me, not because I want to help them, but because I don't want to see any family take a loss on their investment, because they're going to have to buy something later down the road. And I'm sure if they're thinking about their future, they could probably use an extra $40,000 or $50,000. Again, these companies serve the homeowners who truly do not want to do a single thing, maybe need a super quick close, a super easy, frictionless transaction, with the understanding that you are leaving a substantial amount of money on the table when you sell to these type of cash for keys companies. Now, me, I personally, I'll never use them. I mean, maybe if one day I need to, but I know what they're about. And even if you did a quick fire sale on the market and just listed for significantly under market value, you would still walk away with more money than you would selling to these companies. Now, a lot of this is, of course, speculation, because we don't know how the market is going to react or change from day to day. But I will tell you, one of the best things you can do, even if you're considering approaching one of these big companies, is have an agent walk you through the process. Have an agent that knows how investments work, how these big companies work. At least look over their contracts, look over what they're offering you, making sure that there's no bait and switch tactics that they're using. I will tell you from experience, one of the worst things I saw from a major company, Opendoor, was I was working with a family to sell their home. It was only a few years old at the time in 2021, and they had maintained it perfectly. In the backyard specifically, it was full travertine with artificial turf on the side and a built-in gazebo. They had one small dog that you wouldn't even know what was there. And when it came to their final offer from Opendoor, we got a list of items and fees really from Opendoor and what the seller would walk away with in their pocket. Now, it wasn't terrible at the time, but one thing we noticed, there was about $6,000 to $7,000 of repair fees that Opendoor stated was needed on the home. Well, I reached out on behalf of my client. I said, hey, please send us a line-by-line breakdown of what these fees are so we can address them and look them over. When we got that list back, we were mind blown as to how and why they put those items on there. Remember that beautiful backyard I told you about with travertine and artificial turf? Well, Opendoor, or whoever the inspector was, decided to put overgrown weeds in backyard, needs maintenance, needs landscaping, needs cleaning up, dog poop and pee all over the place, and we just could not believe that they had the audacity to do that. Now, this was an open and shut case because with one picture of the backyard, this was easily dismissed and readjusted. And although this is only one instance of this company doing something wrong to a family, I don't think it was the last. Again, I'll give credit where credit's due. I know they've served plenty of families well also. Needless to say, this family did not move forward with Opendoor, and they ended up selling on the market and making a good bit of money. But it just rubbed me the wrong way that someone, whether it was the inspector or Opendoor, had the audacity to put that on the paper and try to take this money from that seller's pocket. Ultimately, again, I'm not bashing these type of companies. I've seen them do great things, and I know some locally, and then you have the big brands like Opendoor and OfferPad. Please, please, please find yourself representation. Find yourself someone who understands these types of offers. I will tell you, a lot of elderly people get these letters in the mail. They think that it's a wonderful offer and they will get got for, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 being left on the table. I know if my parents or grandparents had that done, I'd be quite frustrated knowing that someone took from their future and didn't give them all the options. So whether this option is for you, make sure you understand option A, B, C, and D, and you can make the best decision on behalf of your family and move forward accordingly. I'm Mason Martinez. Thank you for watching. If you've gotten any value from this, or if you have questions or curious, or maybe you're considering approaching one of these cash for keys type companies, I'd love to talk more. If you're serious about buying or selling, I'd love to help. I'm Mason in Tucson, and I will see you in the next video.